everyone, and welcome back to another video with Yoseka. Today I'm going to be unboxing and showing you all the Princess Raden pens by Sailor. So this is a collection by Sailor that was inspired by princesses from fairy tales. So these are not real princesses, they are fairy tale mythical princesses, but each of those fairy tales contribute to the imagery that was put on these pens, and these pens look very, very beautiful because they have some extra detailing on them, some extra imagery and detailing on them that I will walk you through the processes of, and we'll take a close look at the pens as well, and then I will also give some backstory on the fairy tales of the pens themselves. So let's get right into it. So these are the Princess Raden or Raden pens from Sailor. This collection was inspired by princesses from fairy tales, and you can see there's a lot of very pretty imagery on here. And the way that Sailor put these images onto the pens is a technique called Raden and also Yubi Maki-e. So I'll walk you through both of those processes first, and then we'll take a close look at each individual pen. So feel free to use the timestamps to skip around in the video to see which pen you want to see the most, or to learn about the different processes or the backstory of each pen. So I will start out by talking about the Raden technique on these pens, or Raden, how you would pronounce it in Japanese. But Raden is the process of inlaying shells, abalone shells or mother of pearl, into a portion that has been carved out or on top of a pen. So you can see there's some iridescent portions here. There's like a little clover flower looking thing, and then there's like some speckles here and there with the Raden on it, and on the bottom too you can see some little dots surrounding these plum blossoms like that. And so that is one technique that is on this pen. The second technique that we can see is there is some imagery painted onto this pen. And there's this cute little bird, which I'll get into later, and these flowers, which are not the same type of material as the mother of pearl. And this process I tried looking into more. Sailor calls it Yubi Maki-e, but if you don't know about Maki-e, it's a traditional process of painting on lacquer onto fountain pens and then sprinkling metallic dust or powder or pigment on top of that lacquer to adhere it to the fountain pen. And this allows you to create some really intricate and beautiful and like shiny different designs on top of fountain pens. But this one, the Yubi Maki-e, is a little bit different. I tried searching around for what Yubi means, and all I could find is that in Japanese it means elegant or refined. So I think what Sailor is calling back to here is the princess motif, and it being a very elegant presentation of the traditional Maki-e technique. Because as we can see here, there's no like gold dust or any type of metallic dust really sprinkled on here. It looks more like a pigment that is on top of these pens. You can see there are portions where there is some gold dust looking on here, and that might also be the more traditional Maki-e here, but for the rest of the pen, that does not have the metallic pigment and it is just a colored pigment. I think it is just a combination that is inspired by the princess motifs on here and a callback to the traditional way of maki-ing, if that's a verb, maki-ing a fountain pen. So those are the processes that were used to make these very pretty pens, which we're seeing more and more from Sailor, so I'm really excited by this. But now I'm going to go into each individual pen and walk you through a little bit of the backstory and imagery for each pen. So first up is Princess Uguisu, and the fairy tale of Princess Uguisu tells you about the fact that she can transform into a bird, a bush warbler to be exact. So that's why there's this very, very cute little bird on here. That is a bush warbler surrounded by these plum blossoms. And in this fairy tale, I've heard a couple different versions. There's plum blossoms on here because the prince that opens up this like fourth door or fourth drawer that Princess Uguisu told him not to open. He opens against her will, breaks her trust, and there is plum blossoms in this spring room or spring drawer, and Princess Uguisu is upset, so she transforms into her bird form and flies away, which is why there's a bird here and the plum blossoms. So that is what I've heard about this fairy tale. I've heard a couple different versions, and we can see there's some of this golden Maki-e here, and then the Raden on top. There's some in the flower form, like I said before, and then there's some down here in the little speckles like this. And this one has gold trim and gold accents like this. Those are the colors of the pen. And actually, I believe that the Uguisu color, there's an ink called Waka Uguisu, which is like similar to this green color. I feel like that would be a really good pairing, especially because of the Princess Uguisu. So this pen is Princess Uguisu. Next up is Princess Shirotae. And so the story of Princess Shirotae is there was a really, really big carp that was bigger than all the other carps, like huge. So that's why there is a fish down here. And that fish is actually Princess Shirotae. She's another transforming princess that can transform into this fish. And so that's why that is down there. There's also this iris lily motif up here, which is really pretty. And you can see some of the petals in this one have the Raden inlay adhered on top there. So this is a different shape than the one that we just looked at, and there are some of the golden Maki-e bits on top, and on the bottom it's similar. There's the golden Maki-e speckled and some of the Raden speckled. That fish looks so cute. It's so cute. This pen has silver trim and silver accents. I believe I mentioned, maybe I didn't mention before, these are all in Procure Slim only, so they all have 14 karat nibs. This one has a silver 14 karat nib. And that is Princess Shirotae. Let me know if you know how to pronounce the name of this princess, but the colors are really beautiful. I think I might like these colors the best out of all the pens so far. Next up is Princess Ochikubo, and this pen is inspired by the fairy tale of Princess Ochikubo. I feel like the imagery on this one is the least related to the princess herself. It's a little bit more, I guess you could say, generically related to the fairy tale, but Princess Ochikubo's story is mostly about her getting married to a prince and having like this beautiful wedding, which I can imagine with all of these cherry blossoms. I can imagine like cherry blossoms floating in the wind during a very beautiful wedding. And I think this one has a very, very big Raden piece here. So if you can see, the Raden piece here is really big, and it's actually pink to match the cherry blossom petal color. So they were actually able to find some pink pearlescent shell to inlay there, and there's a really big one down here too. Yeah, right there. It's like really, really beautiful. It's huge. It's such a big piece compared to what we've seen on the other pens. That piece is really large. But this imagery is the most like generically related to Princess Ochikubo's story, with a bunch of cherry blossoms on here. And this pen has gold accents like this. And so that is Princess Ochikubo's pen. Last but not least, we have Princess Koto, and this one has such a big piece of Raden here. It is a piece of shell inlaid into a seashell, which I think is really funny. But this tale of Princess Koto, she washes up onto a beach, and the villagers there kind of rescue her, and so she plays the instrument called a koto on the beach there until she passes away. And the beach gets named Beach of Koto, I believe, after her. Very beach themed and beach related to Princess Koto on the beach. So there's the seashell, there's a lot of sea foam and like Raden in these little bubbles, like seafoam specks, almost. And then there's even more bubbles and seafoam at the bottom here with the pattern that illustrates like the waves of the beach. But this is also, I believe, an auspicious pattern, auspicious Japanese pattern, but the way that it's painted on here resembles the waves of a beach in the beach of Koto. This one has silver accents, and that is what it looks like. I also really love the color combination of this one a lot. So that is Princess Koto. So one final thing that I do want to note with these pens, they're all very beautiful, and I hope you enjoyed learning about the backstory of each one of these, but I do want to mention that since this design pattern is on the end here, I personally wouldn't suggest posting the pen if you would like to preserve the design of the pen on the body here. There's no like warning issued necessarily for you to not post the pen. That's just my suggestion to preserve and help preserve this beautiful painting on the pen. These beautiful designs I feel like should, be respected, so please be gentle if you're going to post the pen, but I would suggest not posting the pen for these special designs. They're all very beautiful anyways. Why would you want to cover it up, right? Right? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed learning about each of these pens. I would love to know if you've already gotten the pen, which one's your favorite, or let me know if you know any more about the fairy tales behind these princesses in the comments, because I've only really heard of Princess Uguisu's story, and I've heard multiple different versions, so I'm not even sure what's the most commonly, widely accepted or heard, passed down version of that fairy tale. So yeah, I would also love to learn a little bit more about these fairy tales. So feel free to leave a comment down below which one you know about. And I also forgot to mention, all of these pens only come in Pro Gear Slim and in the sizes fine, medium, fine, and medium. So let me know which one's your favorite. If you've already gotten one, feel free to let me know in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye!